Hello and welcome to Love Island, the morning after podcast, the only official Love Island podcast. Now, today, Amy is still a little bit poorly. So, I have dragged our podcast princess, Jo Bags.
Hello.
Woo! You're going to be joining me in our little one-on-one hideaway villa today.
That sounds very sensual.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some one-on-one?
My first date with a woman, so I'm down.
So, Jo, it's just us this morning. So I got 3 words for you. Snog, marry, or pie.
I'd say I'd snog you because I'm waiting for Dammy to pop the question and I don't want to do it before him.
Good one.
So that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay, so let's start. We had the whole situation with Luca, Sammy, and Grace. Luca did go on a date yesterday. He went with Sammy. And then in the beach hut, pre-date, he actually said, you know what? Grace will always be in the back of my mind. How are we feeling about this?
Sounds like he's haunted.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't give promising, positive vibes. You know what I mean? It sounds a bit like she'll always be in the back of my mind. As I said yesterday, I think that he needs to be open and maybe give it a little bit more of a go with Sammy. And he was elusive on the date, wasn't he?
He was very elusive.
He made the situationship comment.
Which I think personally was a little bit wild.
How come you followed me a few months back?
Because you messaged me.
For my great content?
Yeah, for your great content that you never post. Because you messaged me in Feb, happy birthday. I had a boyfriend, so I didn't reply.
That must take a lot. I have a situationship, so I can't reply.
What, in real life? Brilliant.
I think that if Grace found that out, all hell would break loose. There's a movie night with All Stars, no?
We're not sure.
Okay.
We're not sure what will
If
happen.
there is, that is prime slot on the movie night.
Yeah.
And I think that it will definitely
I think
kick
he
off.
was, like, touching on what you said as well, he was being very elusive. He did say to Sammy, you know, I never regret anything. However, a few nights back, he did mention that he, in fact, did regret the challenge and he wished he'd never done it.
It's almost like he had these PR-trained responses prior to going on the date. It's like he was in the mirror saying, I'm just going to avoid everything, deny everything. And I think that's what he did. But it wasn't as awkward as I thought on that date.
Yeah, it was very natural.
It was natural. And I like the fact that Sammy was a bit cheeky, still, you know, talking about the following situation. Because that does need to be cleared up. The chats we saw were very strange. So.
Yeah, it was. And to be fair, let us not forget, before Sammy did walk into that villa, as soon as he heard her name and we saw Sammy walking down that runway, the look on Luca's face, his eyes lit up.
And I agree with Ekin. He has been strange since.
Yes.
And he has been different. Like, I know obviously he's a different person to what Ekin knew before anyway. I know she keeps acting like they're family friends. He's gone inward.
Yeah.
I compared him earlier to an armadillo. He kind of keeps just like going into his shell and rolling around.
When he gets pressured, he
and
kind
avoiding
of just wants
everyone.
to avoid it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just really want him to give it a go with Sammy.
Yeah.
But I know it's an unpopular opinion because him and Grace do have a strong connection.
I think it's an unpopular opinion, but again, like we said a few mornings ago, it is the Love Island villa and he's going in there for a second time.
Yeah.
And I think he does owe it to himself to actually try. And I feel like he shouldn't put too much pressure on himself to feel like, look, just because it's going well with Grace, that he just has to stick it out.
Yeah.
His feelings are there. And if he wants to give it a go with Sammy, I don't think it's the worst.
But then again, it's a situationship, so.
It's a situationship, not a real relationship.
Yeah.
But I mean, like on the flip side, do we kind of feel bad for Sammy? We saw the whole situation with the girls in the dressing room, and then we saw Grace telling Ronnie and Harriet that she thinks Sammy is in a bit of a hump.
I think that was Grace deflecting, firstly. I think Grace was in a hump and we saw through her glasses she meant business when everyone was chatting. I think that Sammy has the right to be a bit grumpy because she knows that she won't get out of that date what she wants to because Luca's not being open. And I don't know if you've noticed the energy when all the girls get together to debrief or talk about things prior to the date. Like with Grace's piercing eyes, it just feels awkward. Like I do feel bad for Sammy because she's only trying to bombshell.
Yeah.
And Grace came in as a bombshell and bombshelled. And I think she deserves to bombshell.
She deserves to bombshell. It's
I
her
just
job
said
at the
bombshell
moment.
a lot.
Yeah, to be fair, I agree. She
you know what I
deserves to
mean?
bombshell. It's not her fault the public put them together.
Yeah.
It's not her fault that Luca has feelings for her, but he's trying to suppress them. It's just not her fault.
And why does Grace keep taking it personally from the public standpoint? Like, we're messy. We wanted to see.
That's the thing she doesn't know.
Yeah, and she's overthinking it, thinking, what have they seen? We've only seen what you've seen, babe, but we just want mess.
Yeah,
That's
to be
it.
fair.
So
To be fair. And I guess from Grace's standpoint, I guess it's like, that's going to go racking through your mind thinking, well, was Luca doing something behind my back? Is there a connection that I don't see?
Yeah.
And I think those are the thoughts that are probably running through her mind.
yeah. And Grace also told Luca that she was glad that they slept together.
Yeah. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
has different meanings. They did sleep outside on the day beds together.
Are you happy we slept outside?
Yeah, I'm so happy we slept together.
I think we should take it at face value, but there was that little angle where some feet were moving.
Yeah.
But again, it's cold outside. We've seen the wind.
Just trying to keep
I don't
warm.
know. Yeah, maybe they were trying to have a night of passion in the cold.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we saw Sammy and Luca on a date. There was a vineyard, fruits, fruit juices, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
What would be your perfect date?
My perfect date. A lake in
A lake?
Italy.
Nice.
Sunflowers on the table.
Nice.
Private table overlooking said lake.
Nice. Lots of
Um,
detail. I'm liking the detail.
Because it's going to lead somewhere.
Yes.
But trust the process.
Okay.
Nice pasta. Kane don't like pasta.
What
so
kind of pasta?
for me, probably a carbonara if I'm in Italy. Maybe like someone on the violin playing my favourite song.
What's your favourite song?
Favourite song on the violin? Maybe something Adele, but it's very heartbreaky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kane then gets down on one knee,
Ooh!
proposes to me,
I'm loving where this is going.
and then that's it. That's the
your
day.
day.
And I know he watches this pod, so
Yes,
he
he
will
does
be
every
taking notes.
morning.
I hope so. And what's yours?
I like boats and I like the water.
Okay.
Yeah, so anything on like a big yacht.
Right.
Yeah, a big yacht.
I feel like boats and a yacht are two different things. I feel like the price brackets between those,
Boat and a yacht.
I feel like you got a kayak
Yeah.
or you have a super yacht.
Super yacht that is probably named after me.
Okay.
And then we get there.
SS
it's like,
Indiyah?
Yeah, and there's like a ribbon, cut the ribbon,
Okay.
smash the champagne on the boat.
So a brand
and
new
it's
yacht as
mine.
well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just sitting on the front and doing the whole like Titanic little hold me.
Okay, cool. I feel sorry for Dammy this Valentine's Day because I don't know how he's gonna. Well,
Where
you
there's
never
a will,
know.
there's a way.
You never know.
You never know.
I don't know where Kane's gonna find someone that plays the violin, but here we are.
Yeah, and Adele.
Not actually Adele, like maybe an Adele song. That's gonna cost.
Grace, she pied Omar in the Snog Marry Pie Challenge. Were we
Yes.
really shocked about that?
I actually thought the reasoning would be for how their journey went in the previous season. But I did understand because it was quite fresh from that argument they had during the challenge. And that did get really beefy. Even when we were watching it,
Oh
it was
my
a lot.
gosh.
So I do understand it. And thinking rationally, there was really no one else that she would have pied.
Yeah. We were left on a cliffhanger.
So well, we were.
Sigh.
I'm worried about Sammy for sure.
If she snogs Luca, brilliant.
Grace will go off.
What do you think Sammy's going to do?
I think that she's going to kiss Luca. I really don't know because it was a cliffhanger, but I think that she's going to kiss Luca just because, that's the only time she's going to get to really kiss him properly. However, it will cause a massive stir and I don't know where it's going to go from there.
I completely agree with you because I think that when Luca decided to kiss Sammy during the Spin the Bottle challenge, I don't think at any time he thought of the repercussions on her during that.
Yeah.
And that was obviously really upsetting for her. It really put her out in the villa. She felt quite isolated. So I think if she kisses him, she's going to be like, this is how it felt for me. You used the challenge to explore your feelings. I'm going to do the same. And these are the repercussions. I hope that happens because then it gives them a chance to, again, just see what the vibe is. However, I actually also don't know because maybe she's so over it at this point and so over being like vilified for just existing in that villa that she might just play it safe. But we love drama. And we love
the
mess.
drama. We love
so
the mess.
We hope for the first option that we came out with.
And I think Sammy's just going to do what benefits her in this sense. But I do feel like if she doesn't kiss Luca, she doesn't want to make an enemy of Grace. And I think she's trying to avoid that. And I don't think she's even intentionally trying to get on Grace's bad side.
Agreed.
She just wants to have a bitter experience like everybody else.
Agreed.
So it's nothing personal. And we did see Sammy and Grace actually speak it out. And Grace said, look, it's nothing personal.
Only 2 weeks to go before the big finale and the stakes in the villa are sky high. Thankfully, our islanders are staying cool in pre-loved fashion. Last week, heads were butting, romances were brewing, and I was living for the Vegas night looks. Me and the islanders couldn't get enough of Tina and Grace's stunning Zara and H&M with Moschino tops, which were the centre of all the chat during the romance roulette game. Clearly, Diamante is a girl's best friend, especially on a night like this. Later on in the week, we also saw Curtis and Ekin-Su adding some drama to their outfit that we were so here for in a classic House of CB floral bell sleeve dress and a Stussy old flower tee. We definitely know they slayed in pre-loved. Obsessed with all the villa action? Get the island look on eBay today. eBay, sponsors of Love Island All-Stars.
Now, things that seem to be getting a little bit more serious is the situation between Catherine and Omar.
Yes.
We saw them all cozied up around the mini fire pit. And Catherine was saying things like, I'm looking forward to merging everything. friends, family. Do we think this is too much? It might scare him, or is this good? Like, do we like a merge?
I don't know what conversations we maybe haven't seen if they've had those more serious outside questions asked to each other. However, I do think like it felt like a lot, particularly in the challenge. Like, how do you feel about the whole merging things quite quickly with partners?
I'm actually not one to talk because I actually moved into Dami 3 months later.
Okay.
So I'm not really one for good example.
Fair enough. Each their own.
However, I feel like in early stages, I like to merge my friends first and then family a bit later, because I feel like when I'm speaking to somebody for the first time, like my friends are the first ones to know about it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And you always need to have like a second opinion, I think, from your friends, just to kind of get the vibe and, you know, what are you thinking? You know, is he all right?
Totally agree.
Do you get any bad vibes?
We're exactly the same in that
Do you know
sense.
what I mean?
I'm a massive merger at the start with friends because I
friends,
think
for sure.
I've got friends that are really big personalities and you really have to gauge whether they'll get on. You know, you've got to spend a lot of time together. With families, it's always a hard one because if they don't like them, it will only go downhill.
It will only go downhill.
Some people like to just bite the bullet and do it, you know, just to see. I like to give it a little bit of time. However, with Kane, I think we did it quite quickly. So again, I'm not one to talk. I think it was fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But it all worked out in the end.
Worked out.
So that's the main thing. But I do think with Catherine, I don't know. I think she's just falling for him. And I think that we shouldn't maybe read into it too much. She's just excited.
Yeah, and I feel like Omar hasn't done anything to make us or Catherine think otherwise. It's going well, it's smooth sailings. And for her to say something so deep, clearly they must be having other serious conversations.
He didn't run.
So. He looked pretty like, you know, stroking her hands. It looked like, well, fair play.
Agreed.
You know? Catherine, she also married Sammy in the Snog Marry Pie.
Yes.
And her reasoning was because, you know, he made my bestie happy. Do we think that Elma and Sammy are really going down the right direction now and it's going to last the whole way?
I think so.
Okay.
I think Elma had a rough start.
Yeah.
And the Ronnie stuff was really hard to watch because I actually didn't think that someone else would come in. You know when it's like a really traumatic triangle?
Yeah.
And you think, oh, like, will they go home? I don't want them to leave. And I'm really glad that Sammy's come in. They seem so loved up.
Yeah.
And Sammy seems way more mature than he was in his
in
series.
the weirdest way.
Like the advice he's giving the boys.
The advice to Chug saying, look, if you're not sure on the girls, you probably shouldn't be kissing in bed. Which, to the normal person, is like, yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, common sense is not common in that villa.
Super mature.
Are you changing?
And I know they've been worried about the age gap, but I think that he's proving day by day that it's actually not that big of an issue. And it's just cute to see them cozying up together and really into it. And Elma's like a big personality, so it's lovely that she's got someone in there to kind of take her in, you know?
Yeah, to take her in and just be all for her.
Yeah.
She looks really happy. And
She does.
I hope she stays happy because I can tell that Elma has a really big heart. I don't want anything to happen to
I
Elma.
know.
You
So
know?
fingers crossed, you know, we see them on Towie blossoming.
Now, another couple going from strength to strength is Gabby and Casey.
Yes, my faves.
I'm snogging this boy because I don't want to snog anyone else ever.
Well, she don't want to marry you either, mate.
I want to marry you, but that comes later.
All right, I'd rather marry you.
Bold statement, that.
Bold statement. Now, things getting a bit too serious.
I think Casey's also a changed man.
Oh, really?
He seems so different to previous seasons this time around. And I think that, again, I think Gabby's great. And I don't know, it feels right with them two. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like that kind of giddy butterflies feeling you can see them having together.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see because some couples in there are just, you know.
Some couples like who, Joe?
I feel like Gabby and Casey, I see a real raw connection. And it's nice that with these couples, being able to explore that connection in the villa that they might not be able to have explored outside is really nice because it puts you in such a unique position that you're never going to experience
For sure,
anywhere else.
Who wants dessert? Kidding.
Ekin took part in the Snog Marry Pie.
Yes.
And she also pied Casey. Her reason I don't understand so much, and she said something along the lines of, you can take a joke and you like pies.
What does that even mean?
I'm not sure.
I didn't know whether there was something underlying there because of the force of how that pie hit his face.
Yeah.
But then I was like, has he made a joke about maybe apple pie, cherry pie, steak and ale pie? We could go on. But I thought that's such a weird reasoning. But maybe today Ekin said, I'm not for the drama today.
Yeah.
I have done the most this season. I'm just going to play it safe.
Just gonna have a bit of fun.
But I kind of liked it because she
Yeah.
did skip off giggling.
It was a joke. And you know what?
Yeah.
In the beach hut, Casey was like, you know what? It's a game and I love it.
Yeah.
So it was just a bit of like.
Casey seemed to really enjoy it.
He really liked the
He
pie.
was loving the pie.
Maybe it tastes good.
So actually, she's right.
Yeah.
He does like pies.
He does like pies. So someone who didn't take the challenge too well was actually Luca. Now, Elma actually married Luca, which was quite nice to see. And her reason was that they have the same morals and that he treats her friend Grace really, really lovely.
Yeah.
What do we think about her decision? Was it unusual? I wasn't even sure that they'd have the same morals.
I think the way he acted in the Spin the Bottle challenge wouldn't really reflect Elma's morals.
Elma wouldn't do that.
Personally. But then I think the second half, I do agree with. I think that he is treating Grace really well and he is being respectful of the whole situation with Sammy. So I do agree.
Elma's probably just being a really good friend. And at the end of the day, like, I feel like when it comes to Snog, Marry, Pie, you're going to give your bestie's man, like, a good light, especially if they're being nice
You're
to
going to gas them up.
You're going to gas them up.
Which we love. Positive reinforcement. It's saying, you know what, Luca, you need to hear this right now because the likelihood is you're probably going to get pied during this, that you're doing a good job with Grace. So once again, Elma's coming in here and bigging people up, which we love to see.
We love to see. It's giving, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
We also saw Tina. She married Curtis. And her reason was, you always give me words of wisdom and I can trust you. And you know what, to be fair, a lot of guests that have come on the podcast have big Curtis up. He seems to be a very big friend of the villa. So with Tina saying that, maybe it is actually true.
He gives good, like, big brother energy.
Yeah.
And I think that he does seem very well liked. He's Mr. Congeniality. Is that a thing? I just made that
now
a thing.
it is. Now it is.
That's the kind of vibe he gives. So I do understand Tina from that perspective. And he does give good advice. And we saw the other night how even when Ekin was doing a bit too much, trying to get Sammy and Luca to chat, that he did get involved. You know what I mean? And he did say, like, you're doing a lot. I think he's really good at intervening with a good, like, moral standpoint as well. So I agree with that. Yeah.
And then she pied Casey, of course. Wasn't shocked by that. She said, I'll never go near you again. And you're a wind-up merchant. Harsh words.
I do get it. And, like, it was always going to be awkward with them with the previous history they had. And all their dirty laundry was aired in the villa.
Lord.
So, do you know what? Good for you, girl.
Now, the girls seem to be getting really deep in that villa. Throughout that whole challenge, they're saying some deep words like forever and ever. And someone else who said the forever and evers was Harriet. She kissed Ronnie and she said, I'm going to kiss you forever.
And I back that 100%. Can I be biased? I'm going to be biased. They're my winners. No, but seriously, they've come a long way.
They have.
Since Harriet walked in that day. And I feel like it's really lovely to see that she's starting to reciprocate the energy that he's been given since she came in. So I fully back what she's saying.
Yeah.
I don't think she's doing too much.
You can never do too much.
You can never do too much.
However, things may be challenged when we speak about her choice of pie.
Yeah.
Now, Harriet pied Luca. She gave him a big old fat juicy slap on the face.
Yes.
Big slap, wet one.
Yeah.
And he actually took some and flicked it back. And her reason for that was, look, never ever kiss another girl whilst you're with my best friend.
Which I appreciate and I think was a valid reason to pie.
Is a word.
I think that there's two sides to how Luca reacted. I maybe don't agree with the flick back, but maybe it was literally a immediate knee-jerk response was to just flick it off. You know what I mean? There likely wasn't any malice involved. It was just a buh and it hit Harriet.
I think he actually aimed for Harriet.
I was trying to play devil's advocate there. I probably wouldn't say that I would do that in that situation.
Yeah. Gosh, Joe, we've been chatting away all morning.
I know.
Can you believe it? But we're actually at the end. It's time to go. I'm not going to watch her.
You ain't even going to watch on, girl.
Anyways, guys, you know where you can catch us on YouTube, your favourite podcast Friday Wrap, and ITVX. We'll be back here again for you one last time tomorrow.
And tomorrow is my last day. So make sure to tune in tomorrow morning.
Make sure.
To wave me goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.